Back to another episode here on African Confessions. I want to thank those all of you who watch our videos, as well as those that comment and like each and every time. Sometimes I do not get the chance to respond to each and every comment, but thank you very much. And if you are on Facebook, we are asking for your following. We are close to 45,000 followers right now on Facebook. So if you have not yet followed us on Facebook, the name is Brother Nashi that is appearing on your screen. You can search for the page and you can follow us. And if you are watching this confession from TikTok, if you want to listen to the latest confession episodes, if you have Facebook, make sure that you follow our page on Facebook, because we are posting there regularly, less on TikTok. So there is a message that I want to share with you. I will try to translate this message, because I just posted it 40 minutes ago. It is in Shona, so I will try to translate it on the spot. The message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? I want to confess that me and my husband, we sleep, we have sex in church. And when we do this, it is part of a ritual, because me and my husband, we went to this other traditional healer, and then we got some charms to grow our church. So we have to sleep with each other in church to fulfill these rituals that we were told to do. Brother Nashi, how are you? When you post my story, please make sure that you post my story and you have hidden my identity. Brother Nashi, I have come here with my own confession, and I want your listeners to know the things that have been troubling me in my heart each and every day. And I keep on asking myself, what is going to happen in the end? Because me and my husband, we went to this traditional healer. And when we went to this traditional healer, we were then given some charms so that our church can become much bigger and have a lot of followers. But we have to continue doing these rituals until one of us has died. So I am a woman and I am aged 37 years old. I am staying in a suburb that is called Waterfalls here in Harare. Me and my husband, there is an age difference of 10 years. My husband, he is aged 47 years old, and we have 2 kids. Brother Nashi, let me take you back a little bit so that you can understand what really happened. I used to stay with my auntie, and this auntie of mine, she was my father's sister, and she was staying in Highfields in an area that is called Kwamachipisa. So what happened for me to stay with my auntie was that my father and my mother, they had been on a separation. So it was very difficult, because my father, when he separated from my mother, he was living his own life, minding his own business, as well as my own mother. She was living her own life. So there was no one that even cared about me. It was as if they did not even give birth to me. It was as if it was a crime for me to be born by these 2 people. So my auntie, when she looked at me, when she saw the situation which I was living under, she felt so much heartbroken, and then she took me. I was staying in the rural areas where I had been left by my father. I was staying with my grandmother who gave birth to my father, but she was quite old. So my auntie, she came and she collected me. By then I was aged 12 years old. Then I came and I started to stay in Harare. So my auntie, what she used to do was that she was the one that was paying for the school fees, for my upkeep and everything. But my auntie, she had a small canteen by Kwamachipisa at a shopping center. But to tell you the truth about this canteen, she was not in the business really of selling food to people. But what she was doing was that my auntie, she was someone that dated a lot of men, and this canteen, it served as an office for him to hook up with men that came to buy pap from that canteen. when I was aged 18 years old. That was when my auntie told me about this other man. There was this other man who was friend with my auntie, and this man, he started troubling me ever since I was 16 years. He would come to me and he would give my auntie money, and it was all about me. When I was now 18 years old, that was when my auntie called me, and then she said to me, my daughter, now that you are all grown up, you have matured, I want to prepare the best life for you so that you will never suffer for the rest of your life. I have looked for a man, a perfect husband, a wealthy husband who will be able to take care of all of your needs. I then asked my auntie, which man are you talking about? That was when my auntie told me that the man that always had his eyes on me, the man that used to give her money. When my auntie told me that this was the man that she wanted to give to me, I then refused, because I knew that this man was quite old. He was way older than I was. Then my auntie said to me, okay, it's fine. If you do not want this man, if you do not want to date him, to get married to him, then I want you to look for a place to stay. Or before you look for a place to stay, I want you to pay me back all of the money that I used when I was taking you to school, because this man, he was the one that was giving me all of this money all of these years. So it is okay. I want you to give me that money, since you say that you do not want him. I did not have any option than to agree to get married to this man, even though he was quite old. So this man, when I started dating him, he told me that he was a pastor. He had a church in Highfield. So this church of his, he told me that it was more like a job to him. That was what was giving him money. When I started to stay with him, when we got married, when we had our first baby, that was when he said to me, you know what, my wife, I can see that my church is quite small, so I want us to grow this church. He told me that the reason as to why he had been troubling my auntie about me, and he had waited for me all of these years, where he had gone to, he had been told that he was supposed to get married to a virgin woman, and after he would have gotten married to a virgin woman, when that woman would have given birth to the first child, then there was a place where he was supposed to go to, and he will be able to get the powers so that his church can grow big and he can be able to become rich and to have a lot of money. Brother Nashi, when I heard all of these things, I did not even know how to react. I felt my heart beating so hard against my chest, because these things that he was telling me, I did not even expect that a man of God will tell me such things. I did not know that he was into traditional healers and he did all of these rituals. And I said, I can't help you. I can't go with you to a traditional healer. But then he said, no, you do not have a choice. I'm not telling you because you have a choice. We are going to a traditional healer. He told me that if you do not want to go with me to a traditional healer, this is what is going to happen to you. I am going to sacrifice you and I am going to use you, because what I want right now is money. So I ended up agreeing. We then went to a traditional healer because I was scared that this man, with the things that he had told me, he would end up sacrificing me. So then he took me to a place. We crossed the border and we went to Zambia. In Zambia, we went to a place that is called Kitwe. When we arrived there, we met this other traditional healer who is a Zambian woman who stayed there in Kitwe. And then this traditional healer started to assist my husband. So my husband was given some herbs as well as a clay pot. So this clay pot, it stays in another room, and this clay pot, it has a flower, and we have to pour water into this clay pot, and we have to look after this flower. So this is what causes us to sleep with each other. We sleep with each other in church each and every Sunday. Before people come to church, then we have to have sexual intercourse. Before, our congregants would have arrived to worship on Sunday at our church. Me and my husband, we sleep with each other. So from Zambia, we returned back to our country, Zimbabwe, and then we started to follow the rituals. So as for now, our church, it is growing big and we have money. And the people that come to our church, the people that know us, they don't even know that this is what is helping us to make a lot of money. And a lot of people, they come to our church not because they are following God, no, simply because my husband is great at the work that he does and he knows how to prophesy. And what people do not know is that the power that he uses to prophesy each and every Sunday, it is not the power of God, but it is the power of the rituals that we do. The other thing that hurts me to this very day is that my husband, he has been sleeping with women, not just any woman, but specifically women that will be pregnant, the women that come to our church. If you are pregnant, if my husband sleeps with you when you are pregnant, you will have miscarriage. So this is my confession, and I have come here because I know that my life is at a high risk because my husband is someone that is cruel, is someone that is heartless. I am scared that one day my husband is going to sacrifice me, and I keep on asking myself, what will happen in the future if I continue staying with someone that is satanic like this? I have come here because I am asking for advice. I really do not know what I am supposed to do with this situation. To those that want to assist me, please help me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Then she did send me another message that I'm trying to look for so that I can share with you. And the message that she sent to me, it reads like this: hello, Brother Nashim, it's me again. So this is what my husband did, and it still hurts me to this very day. There was this other woman that came so that she can be prayed by my husband. So when I entered into this other room, I saw that my husband was sleeping with that woman doggy style in another room. So this woman, she had been beaten by her husband, so she came to my husband, and I thought that my husband was busy giving counseling to that woman, but she had that woman bent over for him, and this continues happening, and it gives me a lot of heartbreaks. The other thing that happens is that my husband, he was given a ring, and this ring, it has a emerald on it. And if he wants a man to stop loving his wife, if it happens that a woman comes to our church and then she speaks with my husband, if she has a prayer request, my husband will tell that woman to bring a husband. And when they are kneeling in front of my husband, this is what my husband will do. When he is praying for the woman, he removes that ring secretly without those people seeing that this is what he has done, and then he prays for the woman without wearing that satanic ring. And when he is praying for the husband, what he will do is that he will wear that ring, and he will make sure that the emerald will touch his forehead, and this will make that man to start hating his wife. So when that man is now hating his wife, this will give a lot of pressure to the woman, forcing him to come and speak with my husband. I am not allowed to give women that come for counseling, I am not allowed to give them the counseling woman to woman. My husband, he reserves that right to speak with those women, and the next thing I will find out that he is sleeping with them. What has been troubling me right now, Brother Nashim, is that There are a lot of things that are happening. If you check the news, a lot of people that are getting arrested because of sleeping with these women that come for prayers. And this is what I am scared of. My husband has been sleeping with a lot of these women that comes for prayers. I'm scared that in the end, my husband is going to get arrested as well. I don't know. What advice can you give me? I really need help. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our dear sister. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Imagine people, they sleep with each other before you even come to church. They say that they do this so that they can be able to grow their church. Then there is another message that was sent to me by one of our sister. Thank you for sending us this message. The message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my story? Is anonymous. I am a new follower here. I am looking for help because the people that assisted me and ran away with my money, they are from Zim. So I am asking for help and for advice. And I am stuck in this loop. And in order for me to get out of this loop, I need a healer that is from Zim. Even if people say that you need to give your life to Christ, but I will only do so after I would have gotten out of this mess. I bewitched my husband for insurance money, and each and every day when people go to sleep, I am wide awake. Do you know that there are days when I drive throughout the night? I can even go on a journey, like I am staying in Pretoria. If I feel like it, I can just hit the road. Starting at 6 p.m, I am on the road going to Limpopo. Where to? I don't even know. When I arrive in Limpopo, I just refresh and then I drive back to Joburg, and then I can come back to my house in Pretoria. It's like I am a mad woman. Guess maybe it might be called a diary of a mad woman. I have to be wide awake and I only sleep during the day. When I try to sleep at night, I see the ghost of my husband. Sometimes I even sleep whilst I am standing because it is so much better than when I try to sleep whilst I am sitting down, or when I am sleeping on the bed or on the floor. Then he comes to me, then he'll start to torment me. Sometimes I'm so scared that because I do not sleep at night, I'll end up crashing into a truck or into someone's vehicle that will be innocent. I was born and I was raised in Soweto. My mom, she now knows this story. She is also trying to assist me. So my husband died. This is the truth that is only known by the prophets that assisted me from Sosha and my mom, whom I told. So they assisted me into getting my husband killed. I put a charm under his pillow, and his papers, they said that it was just heart failure, but that was not the case. It was because of the prayers that were given to me by people from Zim when I told them that my husband, he was dating another woman, and I spoke with them about his life insurance that I was going to benefit from if it happens that something will happen to him. And then they said instead of sorting out a prostitute of a man trying to return him back to me, he was much more valuable in death than him being alive. That is when they made me to think about how much I was going to benefit if my husband has died. And my husband and I, we go a very long way back. We met when we were still in high school. We got married legally. We did everything that any couple is expected to do. My husband, he had a good job and I was working as a waitress. My husband was everything to me, but the problem that was always there, that my friends used to warn me about, getting married to a man that is highly educated. My husband was so educated, so much that in each and every argument that we'll have, he would always tell me that I failed my matric, and here I was having an uncivilized conversation with him, because what did I know? Because I did not even pass my matric. So he used to do this. He was someone that was abusive, and he had narcissistic tendencies, and it was very hard living under his shadow. I was never right in his eyes. I was always wrong. And if he would ever come across anything on social media, then he would say to me, you see, it's people like you who are uneducated who do things like this. If I wanted to go out with my friends, he would say, you want to go so that you can sleep with men in the club. If you would see any pictures or any videos of a woman sleeping with a man at a groove in the bathroom, you would say, this is the work of uneducated people. I don't know how I can put it out to you, but it was a nightmare. There was no one who knew that this was what was happening. We got our house. My husband was someone that was very good with money. He made good investments. We got the house on bond, and in the following year, we were able to pay it off. Everything that we were doing together, but I knew that the day that he was going to find an educated woman, then he was going to dump me, and I was going to be left with nothing. The only thing that I had in my corner was the marriage certificate that we had, and I was going to fight. If it will ever happen, then I would fight through a divorce. So that was all that I had. I was someone that was always depressed at all the times. I had too much heartbreak in my heart, and I did not even know what to do. I was not allowed to speak with my friends when I wanted to speak with them, and I was not allowed to go out. I was not even allowed to eat certain foods because he wanted my body to be in great shape. It was like I was a trophy wife to him. When we would go out with his educated friends, I was always told to remain quiet. It was very painful because sometimes he would type on his phone the things that I was supposed to say, because he said that I will end up embarrassing him because I did not know anything about anything. So this kept on happening, and as time went on, that was when I started to notice that he had changed. Sometimes he would not even return back home for several days. When I would ask him where he was, he would tell me that he was on a trip, and it will all be a lie. One day I managed to get into his app, and then I saw that his car tracking app, it was showing that he had made several trips and he had gone to this hotel. We thought about this. That was when he told me that he was thinking of getting a woman of his own class, a woman that went to university, and he did not want to be with me because I was uneducated and we were not of the same class. He was sick and tired of the things that we used to fight over. So it was very painful. I begged him to stay. He said, it's fine. For the sake of our child, I'm going to stay. But know that you and I, we are only going to stay together for the sake of the child. Do not expect a lot from me. So I would go for many months without knowing a man. Yet he would be sleeping in the same bed with me. And the cruelty of it all was when that woman would send her own nude pictures and my husband will start to play with his thing, thinking that I was fast asleep. It was a very painful period in my life at that time. So then that was when I heard about this other prophet that was from Zim in Sosha. I had never thought about going or visiting a Zim prophet, never in my entire life. I grew up going to the Seventh-day Adventist church, the church that I still go to this very day. But sometimes you even forget about your own upbringing, what the church has taught you when you are going through pain. The pain that I was going through, it was quite a lot. So I went there to Sosham. I visited my auntie and I told my auntie that I just wanted some help. I lied to my auntie that I wanted to give my husband twins, and I went there, but she did not want to go with me. When I arrived there, everything was so scary. The way that they were speaking in strange tongues, the things that they made me to do, The dirty water that they made me to drink, I was even scared about the things that I was doing. I then told one of the women that was there, and I told her that I had lied to the prophet, and she started laughing. And then she told me that the prophet had told her, when I told the prophet that I wanted them to assist me so that I can give my husband twins, they knew what I wanted. My husband had been cheating on me. So then they took me into a separate room where I was alone, and then they started to ask me what is it exactly that I wanted from them. And I told them that I wanted protection for my marriage, I wanted revenge. And then the prophetess looked at me and she said, you want him to come back, or you want him to stop? Her words confused me, so I asked, stop like what? And then she said, yes, stop breathing, and to stop lying, and to stop loving another. And I can see that you have money. She was holding, actually grabbing my hands by then, and she said, I see money all over you. And then she said, go back to your house. I know that you have money if your husband dies, but I don't know where this money is coming from. When I returned back home, that was when I started to think about it. And I said, what is it that I'm going to inherit that will give me instant money? That was when I said, oh yes, my husband, he has life insurance policy, and if it happens that he dies of a natural cause, then I am the one that is going to benefit. Immediately, I called that woman. I called her at 3 a.m. and I said, prophetess, I now know where this money is going to come from. And then she said, okay, it's fine. It's really late now. Let us talk tomorrow. So the next day, early in the morning, soon after my husband had left, I also went to social and I spoke with that prophetess. So the prophetess then gave me a brown paper, and it had a red cloth with a small doll that was made out of a branch that was inside, and a needle, and a very tiny knife, like a toy knife. It was a plastic one, and it was placed inside, and I was told to put it inside my husband's pillow. But the first day I was told to place it inside my pillow, and I had to whisper his name when he was fast asleep. Then after that, for 7 days, it was supposed to be in his pillow. So on the 4th night, that was when my husband, he started to wake up at night. He would be coughing, he would be sweating, and it was very scary, some of the things that he would be saying. And when I would ask him what is happening, he would tell me that he has been speaking with dead people that are not related to him. Then 2 weeks later, my husband, he passed away. After my husband had passed away, I'm not going to take you through the process because I'm scared for my own privacy. The policy finally paid out. It was 4 million. This money, it was going to be transferred gradually within 21 days. And the money came. I even felt like I was going to die, lightheaded. I even started my own business, but then those people, they told me that they wanted to do, I don't know how to explain it, like magic money. They said that they wanted to do magic money, and they wanted to borrow money from me. I said, how much do you want to borrow? They said that they wanted 800k, and I said, 800k, it's a lot. How am I going to transfer it to you? They told me that since they don't have a bank account, I was supposed to go and take it out of the bank. And I said, it's not even possible. It's a lot of money. They said that with the way that they had assisted me, it was time for me to help them. Since this money was mine, all that they wanted was to use the energy from that 800k, and then they can get their own money and they can go to Zim. So these were the people that had assisted me. If it was not for them, then I was going to be suffering, and I was going to lose out on my marriage, on my relationship. So I trusted, especially the woman, the prophet, and I would go to the bank as a private banker. I would go there, pull out 100 and something each and every day until the 800k was done. They came to my house because they said that this is a lot of money. We do not want you to come to Sosham with this money. So we will come to your house and then we can do the magic money. You can even benefit more. By the time that we are finished with this, we are telling you that your money will have become double. So I said, it's fine. They came, it was 4 men and that woman. They had a lot of things that they wanted to use for the magic money. They told me that they wanted a drum, a plastic drum. Since I did not have such a plastic drum in my house, I then spoke with those people and then we went out. And when we went out, I was even scared that when I come back, those people would have run away with the money. But we went and we bought a plastic drum and then we returned back. We then cut it on top and then they took the money. This we were doing when we were inside my living room. Then we put that 800k inside the drum. They started to pour, not a lot. They were sprinkling holy water. I saw the money. It was as if each and every banknote that was there, it was doubling. And then I saw the money. It was getting a lot in that drum until it filled the whole drum. And then they took that 800k, and after they had taken it, they put it to the side. Then that woman, she put it in a bag. I don't know what exactly happened. I just felt dizzy when they said, now it is your turn to count the money. The money was everywhere. The whole living room, it was full of 100 rands, 200 rands. It was everywhere. I was even feeling dizzy because I had never seen so much money. I asked them how much was on the floor. They said, we have to count it. But one of the men, he was very fast. He said, maybe this money, it is even 10 million. It is 10 million. The Holy Spirit is telling me that this is 10 million. So let us count. The last thing that I remember was that I was sitting on the floor and I was trying to count this money. I said to them, the easiest way to count this money is that we arrange this money into 10k, 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 then we start counting. And then they said it is fine. So I was busy arranging the money into 10ks and there was a large heap of money. And then that was when I just fainted. I just saw someone that walked into the living room. So my heart was beating very fast because I thought that it is an armed robber, because this man, he was very dark in color, but he had no gun. The way that he walked into my house, I was so scared and I fainted. After I had fainted, I woke up. Guess what? 6 hours later, that was when I woke up. And when I woke up, I knew that something was wrong because I expected to see those people. They were no longer there. And I expected to see the money, the magic money that they had created. The money was not there. The living room, it was empty. There was nothing in the living room. They had even collected a TV and they had even collected some other small items, including my phone. So I started to wonder how I was supposed to get hold of these people because I did not have any phone. And the most stupid thing that I did is that these people, I never wrote their phone numbers anywhere else. I had just saved the phone numbers on my phone and they stole my phone. So I don't have any way of getting hold of those people. So when I woke up, I started crying. I cried and I said, my money is gone, because that 800k, it was gone and I did not know what else to do. So I tried to drive and I went to Sosham. I went to the house where they were staying. I was then told that these people, they were not staying there permanently and the landlord was not even helpful. I really do not know if that lady was working with these prophets or what. The way that she was unhelpful, I even felt scared. Whilst I was speaking with her, she did something with her hands. She just rubbed her hands and I started to have a terrible headache. And she said, young woman, I do not want you to come to my house anymore. When you were prayed for by these people, I was not there. Then she then spit on the ground. She then took the soil and she threw it away. and she walked away, and I was having a terrible headache. I got back into my vehicle and I sat down. When I tried to even start the vehicle, I could not even find the ignition. When I looked ahead, I even said, if I try to drive like this, I'm going to cause an accident, because I saw the whole of South Africa. It was spinning right in front of me, and I knew that there was something that was wrong with me. I stayed in the vehicle until I felt better. I drove slowly back home because I felt like I wanted to vomit. The moment that I entered into my yard, I managed to get out of the vehicle. Then I started to vomit. I vomited a lizard that ran away. That lizard at night, it became my husband. He came to me and he was covered in blood and he was crying. And as he was crying like that, he said, so you want to sleep? You want to sleep whilst I am not finding any rest? You are not going to sleep. You are going to suffer the same way that I am suffering. So he started crying. And when he was crying, and he said, I want you to suffer because look at this. Take a look at this. And then he removed his shirt, the white shirt that he was wearing when we buried him. And then he turned around. I screamed in horror. I was scared at what I was looking at. First of all, looking at a spirit of a man that I once knew as my husband standing in flesh in front of me. Then at his back, I saw that he had deep cuts on his back. I asked him what was wrong, and he said to me, I'm going to show you. I saw myself moving very fast in the air, and I saw my husband. He was working at a mine, and at this mine where he was working, he was being used by another man there in Zim, and he was being beaten by a whip. Whenever he tried to stretch his back, then he would be beaten. That is why he had all of those wounds on his back. And he came with me back to South Africa, and he said, I'm not going to let you rest. As long as I do not rest, you are not going to find rest. He started beating me up because on that day I did not know what really was happening. So I said, let me go to bed. Maybe all of this is just going to disappear. Maybe it is just a hallucination. The moment that I placed my head on the pillow, I heard someone punching me at the back of my head, and I started to bleed. He kept on beating me and punching me, and he said, wake up, wake up, wake up. And when I woke up the next day, the whole bed was covered in blood. I then went to my mom and I told my mom. She was even surprised as to why I had so many wounds on my body, and I told her what had happened, what I did. My mom then went with me to this other prophet, but my mom said, let us not tell the prophet the whole truth. I was then cleansed from the spirit of my husband. That very same evening, my husband, he came, he was singing, and he was laughing at me, and he said, so you think that the prophet who was lusting after you can chase me from tormenting you? You're not going to sleep. Wake up. And then that was when I thought of an idea, because I saw that when I am in the car, it does not torment me. I just said, let me drive around the neighborhood where we are staying. I drove and I drove and I drove, and I said, I'm tired. Maybe now he's going to let me rest. The moment that I closed my eyes, the slap that I received, my brother, I don't know how to explain it to you, and I knew that I had to continue driving. I drove until the next morning, and I saw that if I drive in the same neighborhood, it makes me to be sleepy. But if I go on a long journey, like what I do, drive from Pretoria, go to Limpopo, then come back, and then I go to Joburg, because when I come back sometimes it will be around 4 a.m. So I then pass Pretoria and I drive to Joburg, and then I make a U-turn and I return back home, and then I can go to bed when the sun has gone up. That is what I do. So I discovered that when I go on a long trip, I do not sleep behind the wheel. So this is the life that I am living. Those people, they ran away with 800k that belonged to me, and I had already paid them for the assistance that they had offered me. The woman, I had given her 50, and then the main prophet, I had given her 100k. This was what they had said they wanted after I had told them that the money was now in my account. But on top of that, they lied to me about the magic money. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. She is saying that before you tell me about repenting and giving my life back to Christ, I am looking for a healer that comes from Zim that can release my husband from where he is, because he is being used. If there are people that can assist her, you can write your phone numbers in the comment section. Let us talk about this, and let us meet again in the following episode.